It's No Nut November again, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Those of you that don't know, no November means that it's a time to abstain from ejaculating, looking at pornography, or having sex of any kind in November. Is that right?
That's my understanding. Yeah, I think it's a fucking travesty. Did I tell you guys? I think last year I talked about it a little bit, but the program I was running, ran it last year. I ran it running again this year under a different name, but it's the same concept. Instead of No Nut November, it's called New Nut November, and the idea is that you take November as a time to explore nutting in a different way. You know, try something different. Maybe you try pushing stuff. Maybe you try tickle stuff. Maybe you whatever. You know, just trying something new, a different way to bust. You can raise money for it with your friends, kind of like you do with a marathon, and the money goes to charity, goes to a good cause. So it's just a different, it's a different take on the whole No Nut November thing. It's really just an opportunity for people to explore themselves.
Have you busted a nut yet?
In a different way?
Yeah, would you try?
Yeah. You guys know I'm very ticklish. I don't really associate it with anything sexual, but I think that because I'm so sensitive in that area, I could be wired myself in a way I could really benefit from it. So I just filled up a couple of garbage bags with feathers and cut holes in the sides of them, like their sleeves. And I just I would wear them naked, and I would cut a hole for my penis and asshole, and just play around with myself while I was, just jumping around with these feathers bouncing, and the air catches the garbage bag in a way where the feathers just like move up and down and tickle you.
That sounds nice.
Really incredible. It was really incredible. Yeah, and I raised about $100, $115, $130 from people at work. Goes to a good cause.
I blanked out. Sorry, I was trying to get into a thing. But yeah, so you raised $150. You put on like a suit that had a bunch of feathers in it, and you jumped up and down and tickled yourself like as a like a tickle-a-thon. Like however many minutes you would stay tickled, you would raise a certain amount of people pledged money for it.
Yeah, for New Nut November.
Oh,
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I raised a lot of money for the Iranian National Guard. They're doing a lot of good work.
Nice. They need it.
There. Yeah, stabilizing that region. There's a lot of turmoil going on. And,
yeah,
at least as far as Iran's concerned, the new Iranian National Guard is holding it down. So,
wow.
Tickle up thought. I just picture I'm on like TikTok or Instagram Live. There's just a bunch of hearts going up. There's like
a trash bag around your body. Flaccid cock is out of it.
Yeah, there's like 120 people just like scraped together watching.
And you're laughing so hard.
Yeah, really hard. And there's like house music going on, and like the lights are out.
You're laughing so hard.
Yeah.
When they used to have it in like the beginning of COVID, they would have like those virtual parties. The DJ would be spinning, and they'd have like a disco ball, and like that's basically what my basement looks like, and I'm jumping around in the garbage bag, tickling myself, trying to jack off.
Welcome to the Fantasy Cast podcast, where three grown men pass the time by sharing their deepest, darkest fantasies. Here we go.
That gets me. I think I got something. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, go.
Kind of relates to what you were saying. I've been thinking when the weather changes like this, I think about the last year where or for COVID, where I would go to the mall, kind of on the suburbs, just because there was not much to do. And with my daughter and stuff, and I just think about like normal people who go to the mall a lot and just how pleasant that would be. You can imagine being a guy who goes to the mall, buys kind of a sneakerhead, as like a condo apartment and a couple LED lights that turn different colors, as like a gaming keyboard and stuff. Nothing in the apartment at all. Maybe like a black leather couch, widescreen TV, one of those kitchen nook things. It's not like a table, but it's like a bar thing.
Yeah, it's like 82 degrees in there.
Yeah, I guess so. Is it? Yeah. About 82 degrees. And and just being a guy like that, and you have like a girlfriend that maybe works at the mall as like at the makeup counter, you know what I mean? And you're driving to pick her up once and you get into a car accident. And you're like, there's got to be more to life than this. But before that, it just seems so cool to just, you just like things that come out, you know what I mean? It's like easy to like stuff. That just seems so cool. But anyways, I get into a car accident, it changes everything. You know, I see my life flashing before my eyes, and I'm like, I got to do something different. And my job is like some sort of I do like consulting speeches or something like that. And I'm so frazzled by this car accident that I forgot that I'm wearing a shirt that's just covered in like dried sperm from busting on it. Like while having sex with my girlfriend, I bust on it just because she's not in birth control. She doesn't like it. I give my spiel and I have everyone break up into groups. And I'm going around and I'm like, I know there's sperm on my shirt. Let's focus on what's going on. You know what I mean? I keep mentioning it to them. And I'm like, just carry on with the exercise in your small groups and stuff like that. And no one can really focus, and they start like questioning me and talking back to me. It's clear they don't respect me because I have like dried semen on my clothes. And I lose my shit in front of them. And I come clean, and I'm like, yes, I do. I have sperm on my shirt. You know what I mean? Is this what you want me to say? Yeah, I have sperm on my shirt. Okay. I was, and I'm yelling, and I was like, I was fucking my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Doing humping, just being lewd stuff, saying I ate her out like this, and I'm doing like all this like pantomiming sex and stuff like that. And everyone starts to like loosen up and kind of like get more real. You know, they see me in a vulnerable position, and then they start. And I'm like, I guess I'm just a big freak. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just a dirty sick. And I keep like degrading myself. And they're like, no, it's not like that. We're laughing because we're relieved. We're nervous, and something snaps in me. I go home. I completely trash my apartment. I punch a hole in the wall and I pee through it, and it goes into the apartment next door. It's like, it's actually a guy I went to college with. Also in this fantasy, I'm half Korean, half white. And the guy next door is Indian. And I decide I gotta do something. I take an improv class, and I start bawling the second I take an improv class. I'm like, I didn't know that people could do this. You know what I mean? This is so exciting and freeing for me. Seeing a bunch of middle-class people from the suburbs getting silly like this. I'm like, I want to do something different. I start holding therapy sessions where I encourage people to improv sexual fantasies and stuff like that amongst each other. You know what I mean? But these people start feeling so free around me, and I love that warmth so much. It quickly turns into like a cult situation. I rent like a whole mansion in California, and they pay, and we all live there together, and I run these intense sessions where I'm like telling people that they're holding back. Mm-hmm. Put my hand on Karen's shoulder, and I put my hand on Steve's shoulder, and I'm like, look at her, yelling at him, you coward. And I push him out of the way, and then I pantomime, grinding sex on her in a fake sexual position. No one is actually having sex. In fact, it's forbidden, and there's severe punishments if you do. Like, I cut off your fingers. I straight up, like, sick shit that comes out later on. It starts spiraling out of control. My ego gets bigger and bigger, and the torture sessions get longer and more involved and stuff like that. And I'm not even paying attention to them. And I'm just like walking around the mansion while people are pretending to have sex with each other. And I'm pretending I'm having phone conversations to ignore them. I'm like, I'm really busy right now. And I'm just like listening to the 100 best like rock albums on like Spotify on my phone, like pretending that it's like having a conversation with people. Like, that's how I listen to music. I put the money in like some shady investments. Some like coke-headed Wall Street guys sees my hustle and he's like, I want your money. You know, let's invest it in NFTs or whatever. And it all goes belly up. And so I just burn that fucking mansion down. And everyone gets out. I fake my own death. I actually drive back to that good old American girl I left working at that makeup counter. I show up. I'm a couple years older. She's been through the ringer a couple of times. She's helping someone. I was like, can I get some help over here? She's like, it's going to be a minute. You know what I mean? And I'm like, And then I'm like, you have something to help someone who's got a massive hangover and has their tail between her legs. She drops the makeup. She knows it's me immediately. She turns around and sees me. And her eyes light up. She starts crying, and we both know instantly that it's on again. Okay, but I gotta start slow. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta explain to her, like, what the fuck happened. I take her to a diner, and I'm nervous. I'm like as nervous as I was on the first date. I'm sweating, and I keep looking at my phone and looking at people outside. And she's just like, look at me here, be here now. You know, she could always tame me. She was the only one. She got my goat. And we actually don't have sex for like 2 months because I have to earn back her trust. And I got to get my fucking life back in order. I start making websites again and doing freelance video editing. Doing a little bit of 3D animation. And she invites me over one night to her apartment. She's got a similar apartment to mine. It's like all IKEA shit, and she has like a blanket on like a white leather couch. It's like one of those blankets that just like the second you buy it, and it seems to come with its own coat of like oil and grease on it. It's like a furry, cheap blanket. And she's wearing jogging pants and a long black t-shirt, and she has her hair tied up, but is also wearing sunglasses and like a full face of makeup. And she greets me at the door and makes like TGIF stove chicken wings, steamed broccoli, and like microwavable rice as a dinner. I eat it, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. I'm used to like California fancy shit now, so I'm like a little bit classed out, but she knows I'm humoring her. She says it's sweet anyways. I finish eating as much as I can without vomiting. She straddles me on the chair. She says, this is it, huh? And I'm like, yeah, this is it. We start making out Insano style. I pull down her jogging pants and we start doing it on the kitchen table, which is it's like a circle kitchen table, IKEA style. It breaks. It doesn't break. Like one of the legs pops off and like falls off, and we're at an awkward angle where it's like almost like an incline. She's inclined downward, her head's downward, and I'm like holding her legs. But she's also like has her hands around the back of my neck. You know what I mean? It's very uncomfortable and isn't pleasurable for either one of us. And so she kind of like visually just like falls and rolls on the floor because it's just unsustainable. I'm not in like very good shape, and I'm just not that strong. I'm not strong. It's too much. And I still have my pants on, and I'm walking over. And I pick her up, and I'm just like walking around with, an erection, and we go to the bedroom. The bedroom is just covered in dirty clothes and like old Starbucks cups and stuff like that. I straight up grab one of these cups that's full of mold, and I pour it all over the bed. And I say, I don't give a fuck, babe. This is family. She just inhales. And she just gets a crazy look in her eye, and we just get jujitsu style intensity of not even having, like, doing the motions of having sex. It's just like intense squeezing and like panting on the side of each other's faces. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not normal. It's only something that happens maybe once or twice in your life. And you can't breathe. You're both squeezing each other so hard you can't even breathe. And you don't even know if you have an erection anymore. And you don't even know if you ejaculate or how long it's been going on. The next thing I remember, we're sleeping and it's pitch black in there, and she has window blinds that are like the vertical window blinds that are just like dangling pieces of shit. Half of them are broken. It smells like cat piss in there. Snow is hell. It's in Chinatown. I open the window and it's freezing, and I look out the window and I just jump off it and die. It's like the 8th story. Hit a couple air conditioners, and it's like it's not a graceful death. I'm like flipping and flopping like off these air conditioners. Like one of my arms pops off. You know what I mean?
You die like a year and a half later.
Someone has a videotape of it on their phone and it goes viral, and people people on the internet use it mercilessly as like my face when I whatever, you know what I mean? Have to go to the DMV, and it's just like my body like a rag doll popping off of air conditioners.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Man, I love fantasies where you have influence and control over people.
Yeah. That is a thrill, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something so many people lack in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have influence and control over all these people in California. You come back to the suburbs and to your one true love, and that control just goes right away. Yeah, the reason why I said it was like 82 degrees in there is the kind of apartment that you described, really in both cases reminds me of like when the like apartment building controls the heat, so it's like super hot in there, and the only way that you can get any relief is by like cracking a window in like the dead of winter.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, for sure. And this. I would be smoking in. I guess vape. Well, no, it's my fantasy. I would definitely be smoking in there.
It's basically like the apartment that we lived in, where everybody is smoking and ashing into Starbucks cups.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. There's also an iguana. I picture like a really big terrarium in there somewhere in your girlfriend's house.
Oh, yeah. Just like LED, like pink LED lighting.
Yeah.
Shit, cheap lighting shit like that. Lighting gizmos.
There's a big ass terrarium that takes up like 3/4 of a room. And it's really hard to move around in it. And there's just like wires everywhere.
That's so annoying to me. But I know what you mean. Yeah, it would be in there.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. You got something, John, or do you want
yeah, I wanted to say thank you everyone that participated in the raffle at Prophecy of Pong.
Yeah.
We're going to announce winners next week. All right, my fantasy is that I'm like I work in Hollywood to some degree. I'm not an actor. I'm not well known, but I've been around for a while, so I've got friends. And I run into Natasha Lyonne. I'm at a record store, and I say hello to her, and she knows who I am. We're not like tight, but I invite her to a party, and she's like, "Well, when is it?" And I'm like, "It's like in 2 weeks. It's Friday." I was like, "It's super casual, like wear whatever you want. We're just gonna listen to music, hang out. A lot of cool people come in." And she's like, "I'm down. She's like, "I'm free." So I leave. And then I go to this little cafe. I see Christina Ricci's there. Same sort of deal. Tell her just a few people that I think are cool. And she's like, so she's down. And it's the only 2 people I invite. So they think there's a lot of people coming. They show up. I'm wearing all black, like really decked out in like my nicest shit. There's like candles lit, nice lighting. I got some like hard bop jazz playing. we're just like really annoying, aggressive jazz music. And Natasha comes in. I'm like, are you into jazz? And she's like, not really, but like I can get into it. And I'm like, let me pour you a glass of wine. So I pour some wine, and I start talking about the band. I'm like, this is the first time Philly Joe Jones has ever played in a trio. You're gonna love this. And she's like, okay, I kind of like it. And I'm like, Christina Ricci's on the way. And she's like, that's really? I'm like, yeah. So she comes over. I go build a charcuterie board. I'm just like assembling sausages and cheeses on a plate. I turn up the music. It's even louder. They can't really even hear anything. I stand in front of the record player, and the TV's there. I turn on the TV and I turn on Black Snake Moan, that Christina Ricci movie. And it's an edit where it's just anytime she's naked, that's what's playing. It's like on a loop, and they can't see it. And I turn around, Christina sees the TV and she's like, holy shit. And Natasha laughs, and Natasha looks down, and I have a boner. And she's like, oh my God, do you have an erection? And I just start laughing. I turn up the music a little louder and go back into the room. And I'm like, hey, John Hamm's going to be here anytime now. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. They're like, they're not having a great time, and they don't really understand when the party's going to kick off. I come back in, and I have my penis out, and Natasha laughs. And Christina's like, this is crazy. What are you doing? And I asked Natasha if she's into girls, and she's like, I'm not, not really, but I could be. And I was like, let me go get you another glass of wine. You know what I mean? So I keep pouring the wine. They're no one's sloppy. It's pretty, the whole thing's pretty elegant. You know what I mean? Fucking great music. Great snacks, great wine. The company, it's just great company. And it's just it's a chilly LA night. So she's like, I'm not super into girls, but I could be. And I'm like, why don't you kiss? Just kiss. You guys know each other, you're friends. So they start kissing. I go into the kitchen, and I just shovel a bunch of food in my mouth just to try to sober up. Just eating a bunch of salami. Throw back a Coke, and I come out, and they're on my couch. They're just scissoring each other. But they got pants on. I take off Christina's pants, playing with her pussy a little bit, 2 fingers, Natasha is like, holy fuck, this is happening, And then I take her pants off, and I'm like, I should just bump them into each other. Have you ever done that? I was like, have you guys ever done this? And they're like, no. It's just bump them into each other. So they're scissoring. And I was like, can I get in the middle? And they're like, what? And I'm like, let me get in the middle. So I have an erection. I'm underneath them. I grab them, lift them both up by their butts. You know what I mean? So they're leg locked, but they're being lifted by their butts. And I put my penis in the center of it, keep hoisting them up and down while their vaginas are wrapped around my penis. And then I get a knock on the door. And I'm like, that's fucking John Hamm. I'm just like, hey, come on in. So the door opens, and he sees what's going on. He just immediately takes off his pants, takes off his shirt. He crawls to me, and he blows me until I come. I said,
that's cool.
Yeah.
He immediately knows what's going on.
He knows exactly he hears the fucking jazz music, and he knows what's up.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Natasha Lyonne said, you ask her early on, you say, do you like jazz? She's like, that's not really my thing. It's not my thing. And you're like, yeah, okay. At that point, you're angry?
No. I'm just like, come on, listen to this listen to what's happening here, doll.
Right.
I mean, and she's just like, okay, it is cool. Like,
you want to share.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, I like it when a guy shows me music and makes me feel stupid for not knowing what something is.
Interesting.
And Christina just seems like the type of girl that doesn't listen to any music. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't care what's on.
My God, you're probably right.
She tries music.
She tried music a couple times and didn't stick.
Oh man, that's so good.
That was a straight up fantasy.
Yeah, I think
holy fuck.
One of my
celebs.
One of my early in one of the early episodes I had, it was two girls were smashing their butts together.
Uh-huh.
Remember, and my penis is in the middle of that.
Yeah,
or my head was, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't expect John Hamm to go right for the hog.
I didn't even think he's going to show up, honestly.
Yeah, me neither. I thought it was a trick. I like how they were bumping each other and they're like, you just like this? You know what I mean? Everyone's just so cool about everyone's the situation.
Cool. I tried to pick two people that are just fucking cool, you know? I bet Natasha's been in that situation.
She's probably orchestrated that situation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I picture John Hamm shows up with a bunch of leftovers from dinner.
Yeah, God knows where he's coming from.
Like a doggy bag.
Yeah, he's got a doggy bag from like an Italian place. Where
got a really big vitamin water.
And he's got his leftovers and then the other stuff that other people didn't finish but didn't want to take with them.
While he's pleasuring you with his mouth, you kind of notice that he just has like that natural eyeliner look for some reason. You know what I mean? Like
he just filmed something.
No,
like he's
just
got
like
makeup on, or just
he's just got like baby eyelashes or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, sounds like you said, good time, good people, good music.
Afterwards, you guys are hanging out, just like lounging around naked, and you fire up a pretty skinny joint of just mids. While you guys are listening to the jazz, like you get kind of high, but not really too high.
Yeah. I've got CBD gummies that don't do anything.
What time do you think it like wraps up altogether? That's what I always wonder about situations like this.
I guess I would say within 2-3 hours.
Like what time are people leaving your house?
1,
Yeah.
LA time, like 1 a.m.
Yeah, I feel like without any kind of like uppers, that's about the time when people would leave.
Yeah, it's sexual, but it's not wild.
You guys aren't like, you're not partying. You're not doing a bunch of drugs.
There's no drugs. I wouldn't allow it in my house. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool, man.
But wine, we can drink good wine, good music.
Yeah, good food.
Good food.
Yeah. John Hamm cracks open one of the doggy bag things and he throws it in the microwave. He's like, you got to try this brioche.
It's got it's in a styrofoam box and it fucks up my microwave.
Yeah.
He's trying to act normal.
Yeah.
He's like, buddy, I think I might have screwed up your microwave. I'm completely naked. Cum all over me.
Christina Ricci fucks up your downstairs bathroom because she shits and it won't flush.
Yeah, she's got an allergy to red wine.
She just blocks it up. She doesn't say anything. You find out later. Yeah, that's good.
What you got, Nathan?
So mine is a bit of a whodunit caper. A little bit of a mystery. So let me set the stage for you guys. I'm living in a puritanical society, and they basically banish all the sex freaks to this compound. Maybe it's an island. I don't know. Call it an island. somewhere in the Great Lakes. And they banish all the sex freaks there. So anybody that they deem as like just being too outside the norm sexually, I'm not talking like sexual criminals, just like people are too freaky. They send them to this compound, and it forms into this like village of the town with the governance structure, and it's just like this whole community. And I live there, and I'm a detective. And I've got a partner, and my partner is a lady, leggy, blonde. They call her the dildo diva because she's one of these people that is really into just different sex toys and has a lot that she'll never use, but she's just a collector, you know. And but she's really cool. We get along really well. We're really good at what we do, and we live in like a hollowed out tree, basically, that we've formed into a house. And I come out one day. It's a summer day. It's really windy, and I come outside, and Dildo Diva is sitting down. We made a table out of a tree stump, and she's sitting down. And she's eating a pie. And I was like, "Oh, today is the pie tasting event. I totally forgot. This is so cool. How's the pie today?" And Dildo Diva was like, "Oh, it's so good." I'm like, and it seems like the wind's dying down too. We're gonna have a really great afternoon today at the pie tasting event. She's like, "Yeah, I think it's gonna be really fun." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm so excited." And the mayor comes running up, and he's like, "Nathan, Dildo Diva, Nathan, something happened to all the pies. We can't find them. They're gone. I think somebody stole them. We need you guys to get to the bottom of this." So I'm like, "Oh, this sounds like a job for us. Come on, let's go." So we go over to the city hall, and where they brought all the pies, and the mayor's like, the mayor is one of these like leather guys, you know, just like always dressed in leather. And he's like, "This is where all the pies were. They were on this. There's a pie cart right here." I went inside to get some stuff together. I come out, and they're all gone. I'm like, this is quite the mystery. We'll get to the bottom of this, won't we? So I look around, and I notice a couple things. There's a big branch that's on the ground, and there's a little puddle of cum that's also on the ground. And I say, I take the cum in my finger, and I like kind of like wrap it around my finger, so it's like kind of dripping off my finger, but the viscosity of it keeps it on there. And I say, Dildo Diva, I think I know who this cum belongs to. There's only one guy in this whole community that is into cum enough to leave it on the ground at the scene of a crime. And it's Slutty Ron. So we go see Slutty Ron. Slutty Ron's he's like a big cum guy. He just like loves eating it, putting it on his skin, just anything about cum. He loves it. So we go to his house, and we knock on the door, and I'm like, "Slutty Ron, we know you took the pies. Get out here." And Slutty Ron's like, "I can't come to the door right now." He's indisposed. He's taking a shit. He's like, "I can't come to the door right now, but I didn't steal your pies." I'm like, "We found some cum at the scene of the crime. We know you stole the pies." He's like, "I wasn't there. I didn't steal those pies. But look, you leave that cum here. I'll taste it. I'll figure out whose cum it is. I'll get back to you." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I smear it on the doorknob, on his doorknob. And I say to the Dildo Diva, I'm like, or she says to me, she says, "Well, if it wasn't Slutty Ron, then who was it?" So I'm like, I think I know who it might be. So there's this peeping Tom that's just rampant around this like sexual village. And so I say to her, I'm like, "My guess is this peeping Tom was peeping in the window of City Hall waiting for the pies to come out. And that's why the branch broke. Because this peeping Tom was in there." So we go to the peeping Tom, and we're like, "We know it was you. Give the pies back. Give those pies back." He's like, "I didn't steal those pies. What am I going to do with like 10 pies?" I'm like, you know what? He's right. I don't know what it is about this peeping Tom, but I don't think he stole the pies. And so we go back to the scene of the crime, and we're really scratching our heads. And Slutty Ron comes running up. He's like, "I tasted the cum, and I know whose cum it is." And we're all like, "Yeah, whose cum is it?" And he's like, "It's yours, Nathan." I'm like, "It's mine." He's like, "Yeah, it's yours." I'm like, "Oh, it must have been mine." So to get over here faster, me and Dildo Diva, we 69 ran, and I must have come. I know I came, but I must have just come on the ground and not realized it, like right out front. And he's like, well, the mayor's like, if it's your cum, then who stole the pies? And I was like, wait a minute, Dildo Diva. Where did you get that pie this morning? And she's like, I found it floating down the river. And I just grabbed it out. I'm like, oh, I know what happened. The wind from the windstorm blew the branch down, knocked the pie cart down the hill. All the pies flew into the river. And you must have grabbed one that you saw floating down the river. So that means all the pies must be at the beaver dam. So we go down to the beaver dam and we see all the pies. Sure enough, there's a bunch of beavers that have like taken them and like are patting them into the dam. Like, nobody stole the pies. It was just a big misunderstanding. It was an accident. So we take the pies back to the pie tasting contest. Everybody's having fun. People are like, there's a guy running around under the table, just like sucking guys off. There's a bunch of different weird stuff going on. There's a guy just running around squirting people with lube. It's just a really free sexual place. It's like that sex rave that they have in the UK every year where a guy died at it. And it's just the whole rest of the afternoon is just a fun time. Really just enjoying each other's company. And that's it.
It's like a Ren fair or something.
Like the actual thing?
Yeah, I'm picturing a large outdoor fair type thing.
Yeah.
People are wearing old shit, Yeah.
It is.
It's in the community, it's just like an event in this kind of fairy tale community.
Right.
Yeah. It's just something fun that they do every year to lift people's spirits.
Oh,
great.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. So, the way I picture it is like there's a whole bunch of just different like mysteries in this village that from time to time I solve them.
It's like wholesome stuff.
Yeah, it's like
the pies go missing.
If there's like a murder, at the end you find out they were just sleeping or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they tripped on some like blood themed lube or something.
Yeah, they're doing some kind of like murder cosplay to get off.
Yeah.
And they're just really sleeping it off. Just a lot, just stuff like that.
All right, you guys want to hear my poem?
Oh, yeah. I've been waiting a long time for this. Yeah.
It's called Past Tense. Just so you know, I don't want to answer any fucking questions about this. This is something I wrote. I felt inspired to write it. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's called Past Tense. Past tense. Dearest brothers, we gather tonight in my simple hall. We once lived as kings, but it's all gone now. A noose is tied around my neck, and all you do is watch. 14 years. 14 years. And you can't look me in the eye. You're weaker now, and can't stand the sight of seeing your own grown out of his shell. You look at him from your own living hell. From your own living hell. The jungle made you, but she tamed you. You feel the hate through, but a cage you are chained to. A sorcerer's apprentice, no fate to hold on to. You are past tense to me now. Take a look at me now, so strong and so brand new. A pauper into a god of stands before you. Look down, your clothes are stained through, and a mirror just laughs before you. No cheers from your mother and father. Another victim ripped open at a slaughter. Time, like gravity, crushes from above. If only you could remember the times that we loved. The jungle made you, but she tamed you. You are in a cage. You are chained to. No fate to hold on to. You are the past tense to me now.
You are the past tense.
That was really good.
Thanks, man.
You don't want me to comment on it any further?
I'm not gonna. You can talk. You can comment on it. I'm not gonna answer any questions about it.
God, I'll just say this: whoever inspired that poem, whichever woman inspired that poem, I feel bad for them, bro. Whatever you must have done to them for hurting you like that. I mean, they deserved every bit of it, but you must have fucked them up.
John, you got anything to say, bro?
I really liked it. Reminded me of like a Pantera song or something. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Take that as a compliment.
14 years.
Can I tell you guys? I was talking about a little bit about this in the chat, but just talk about the society that I think about living in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you guys know I've been really interested and excited about the idea of people doing bad things and then getting punished for it. And I like the idea of watching people do things that are incorrect and then other people punishing them. But an example of that is like, you know, you're at like a train depot and there's like a bunch of buses that are pulling up, and somebody asks, hey, is this the bus to get to the hospital? And the guy says, I think so. You might want to take the 92 bus. And the guy's like, oh, okay, the 92 bus. Yeah, I think the 92 bus goes there. And it turns out it wasn't the 92 bus that goes there. It was like the E20 bus. Anybody who overhears that misinformation being delivered gets to just descend on the person that got it wrong and decide what kind of punishment they get. And it could be as severe as, public execution, or as light as just being like, hey, you know what? You gave that guy the wrong information, and anywhere in between. So just as a society, I picture I'm sitting out in front of my house on my porch like I do for a couple hours every day, and I see a guy walking around checking doors on cars, and he pops open a door and he rummages through and he steals some cassettes, and a guy comes out and he's like, hey, that's my car. The guy's breaking into the car and knows that he's been busted. And in this society, when you're caught doing something wrong, you submit to whatever punishment. So the guy who catches the car thief is like, go find yourself a switch and come back. The car thief goes and gets a switch and comes back and pulls down his pants and puts his hands on the hood of the car. The guy whose car it is proceeds to just tan his hide with the switch. The guy is like old enough that his balls are sagging down a little bit, so he catches some of his nutsack as he's punishing him. Mm-hmm. And I'm just sitting there watching the whole thing happen, and it's just the society I've created. I get to just sit on my porch and watch people get caught for doing things that are incorrect or inaccurate or wrong, and just watch them get punished.
This is your world.
Yeah, this is my fantasy world that I've created. Because I just think there's a lot of people out there that are doing bad things or doing things wrong or giving out misinformation or just like not doing things correctly. And I think they need to be punished. Like, it's not enough just to get corrected, Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. You have to be punished too. Otherwise you'll do it again.
What about like offending someone?
No, you can offend people because that's interpretation.
It's subjective.
Subjective, yeah. Breaking the law or giving out incorrect information in some way that is definitively false.
What if it's If it's a mistake, though, you still get punished?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's wrong is wrong, Mike.
I agree with you. To me, that's scary. I'm not saying your fantasy is wrong. I would never say that to someone, but it's like I make mistakes all the time. And like in this reality, I feel like I would be black and blue all the time.
Yeah, but you'd also get to watch other people get punished. And how cool would that be?
I guess so. That's like a sense of justice, like being carried out.
Like you might get the shit kicked out of you or abused physically or emotionally or sexually or whatever, but you'd also watch that happen to other people.
So it's like corporal punishment. It's like I would like that. Like you could just smack someone.
Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, maybe not murder them or but like if someone sends me on the wrong path for something, like a fucking convenience store or something, and I could just smack them in the face afterwards, that'd be great.
They have to arrange it. Like you have information.
Yeah. Like
you got your information on the phone. You're like,
he has to show up.
We got to work this out.
Yeah.
It's like all business. You got to meet me. I'm available these couple times.
Like he's got to go to a courthouse.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you can meet me in my house, my backyard, and I get to hit you a couple times with this broom handle.
Can you make it sexual?
So if it's sexual, you have to get it appealed to by a higher body of some kind. If it's like a group thing, you can decide as a group what it is, So if you decide that it's like you want it to be sexual, like if it's a group of people that overhears a guy give you the wrong directions,
and I'm like,
and they descend of him,
and I'm like, hey guys, you guys care if he gives me a kiss? How about he just has to give me a kiss, something like that? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of like chaining someone up in public and pulling their pants down and just like kind of being like, look at their small wiener, you know what I mean? Pinching their wiener.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's humiliating and sexual in nature. The person might even kind of like it, but I think all of this is a good way to just to have a rapport with the people around you.
Yeah, but also keep in mind,
you're accountable to them, they're accountable to you.
Yeah, the more ruthless and heinous you are to people, then keep in mind, you're going to make a mistake too someday. So what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
So it's just a way to kind of keep people in check. And you can also barter your way down. Yeah, like somebody steals your newspaper or something, and you arrange, you're like, okay, you're going to come to my house or we're going to meet you in the park. And I'm going to beat you with a rubber hose 4 times in your face. And they're like, 3 times in my chest. And you're like 4 times across your thighs. And they're like, okay, deal. Like you can negotiate it down.
Afterwards, you guys share a cup of coffee together.
Yeah. You just, it's a pretty intimate thing. And because you've been more reasonable now, some leniency will be given to you next time you do something incorrectly, like accidentally turn right on a red light when you weren't supposed to.
It's in poor form to like start crying. For anyone to cry.
Yeah, accept it.
It's like disgusting. Oh God. Just get out of here.
But think about that, like if somebody gets out of pocket and does something like completely heinous, then the whole community can just like decide what their punishment is next time they do something wrong.
This is interesting because I was thinking that women need a torture facility for them to go to where they can torture people to like blow off steam.
I think they've earned that.
I think so too. I think there would be people that would be like, I think women, they feel like they would be doing a service to be tortured by women. And I think this would relieve a lot of stress for women to just go to a place where they can anonymously torture people.
Yeah.
Torture other women.
Whoever and whatever. It's like a public service.
Yeah.
It's not a punishment for the people. They have to willingly. Yeah. It's not like it's not. It's weirdly not sadistic in that way.
Yeah. So if I can sign up to go get punished for a while or torture. Yeah. That'd be cool. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be into that.
I keep having a reoccurring fantasy also where Liam Gallagher is just humiliating me in some sort of like, I get invited like for once to someplace fancy.
Yeah.
And there's like rich people and fancy people there, and Liam Gallagher's there, and he's just roasting the shit out of me, humiliating me, calling me a cunt, and you know what I mean? Just like being terrifying, like scaring the shit out of me. But I kind of think it's fun a little bit.
It would be cool if like you got a new promotion or something, and like your family and your wife were like, we're going to take you out to this nice restaurant you've always wanted to go to. You save up a lot of money and for this like really nice meal, and Liam Gallagher's there at the table next to you, and he's just fucking carrying you the whole night.
Yeah, he's ruining the experience for everyone at the restaurant.
Yeah, just treating you like a heel.
Yeah, he's like, you think you can outdrink me? You know, and he challenges me to a drinking contest, and he's cheating because he's a little. You can tell he's like a little weasel, a coward, and he keeps like fake. Like throwing drinks over his shoulder and stuff like that. Like you never win fair and square.
No.
With him.
And he just keeps ordering you just like the nastiest shit.
And he just making fun of you, calling you worthless, a stupid cunt. He's saying cunt a lot. Cunt. He does that. I saw footage of him talking about being backstage. He said in the 90s, I'd have a cunt here making me espresso and a cunt here doing something. He's not talking about women. He's talking about like people who work
just
for
a guy.
him.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking disgusting. Or it just not creepy. It's not disgusting. It's just like, it scares me how he scares me.
Yeah.
Just how merciless he is.
Yeah. He just dehumanizes you almost instantly.
Yeah, I don't
know. In that scenario, there's a bunch of people like hangers on at his table that are just like egging him on.
Yeah.
And he's just performing in front of them, even though he doesn't give a fuck about any of them.
And they're scarier than him.
We're all glad that it's not them getting fried.
Oh yeah. Of his entourage, they gotta be the most down and out hangers on possible.
Yeah. It's really funny to me how a guy like that, who's, like Oasis is objectively a popular band, but I don't know, they kind of fucking suck. And the fact that he can, I said it. The fact that a guy like that can get like so like up his own ass to the point where he's like that psychotic. There's something funny about that.
Yeah,
he's pretty funny too.
He is kind of. I think he's like aging well.
Yeah.
In fact, the more stories I hear about it, the more charming and funny he becomes.
I think cunt is like endearing over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
In it.
In it.
I think it's not as offensive as it is here.
I hate saying it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I refuse to say it.
Doesn't feel right.
The way they say it,
you gotta be British.
The way they say it is better. Cunt.
Yeah,
a cunt here and a cunt there.
Cunt.
It's a little too. I don't know. Okay, one of my notes is being a teenager and baiting pedophiles to meet up and then videotaping them just to teach them to keep their noses clean. You know what I mean? Like being like a vigilante teenager.
Oh, yeah. It's like To Catch a Predator, but you're using
on
yourself.
Your own. It's like a weird hobby only you know about.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's just only you know about it, that you're like kind of keeping tabs on these guys afterwards.
Yeah. It could break really badly at any point too for you.
No, but the kid,
very dangerous.
This teen's got all his bases covered. He's just like kind of precocious. He knows a lot. He's like Veronica Mars, but it's a guy. But he's like Veronica Mars, and he's like just not only is he finding pedophiles and provoking them, but he's like kind of making pedophiles as well.
Yeah, it's like entrapping.
Yeah,
them.
he's like
he's like getting them into it.
Yeah,
like he's lying about his age. I'm 25.
After they have like a full blown like emotional connection.
Yeah.
Like over 3 years or something.
He's totally catfishing them. And when when they show up to his house, he's like, I'm 16 years old. And they're like, what the fuck? I got to get out of here. And he's like, busted.
Yeah. What about this? You know what I mean? I press play on a VCR and it just shows like a montage of like all the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. Keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
If I ever catch you messing around again, this goes to the media.
Yeah.
All right, I guess John has to go to bed. He does work hard, I guess.
John works way harder than I think either of us do.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Dude, I'm fucked. I don't think I can ever get a job ever again. I think I'm done.
I don't know how...
I'm fucked.
I don't know how people do what I'm doing for like 40 years. Like,
how many hours do you work, John?
It's just 8 hours, but it's like I walked like 8 miles today.
Really?
Like at work. Like it's just a lot of fucking
Are you in a warehouse?
moving around.
Right.
I'm in a really, really big warehouse. They gave us paper checks, which pissed everyone off because we have direct deposit usually. So they meant there was something wrong with payroll.
Yeah.
So they had like a company-wide meeting, which isn't that many people. And these like grown men were like screaming at the owner. These guys would love to probably be in a union or something, but they won't do it because they're all Republicans and they hate the idea of a union. But it's exactly what they're like trying to do. They're like, we got to stick together on this. And I'm just like, also these fuckers only talk about tools and shit. Like they don't. I've never heard any of them talk about their wives or anything. It's just like. It's like Home Improvement. It's just like Tim Allen. They laugh about like carpentry jokes and shit. I don't belong at all.
Do you think you could get through to any of them? You think you could crack any of them?
I made a few guys laugh. A few.
Yeah.
There's like one pervert that I've like bonded with.
Oh yeah.
Little Puerto Rican guy.
What if you
skateboarder, horniest? He's the horniest dude I've ever met. I love him.
So if you went up to like imagine the biggest like stick in the mud tool guy, Tim Taylor tool guy.
Yeah.
If you walked up to him and said, "Hey, Ron, check this out," and you showed him a picture on your phone, and it was like a Playboy model, just like very basic, conventionally beautiful, naked, centerfold picture on your phone. And then just walked away. What do you think the guy would do?
He'd be like, "Oh wow, she's gorgeous." Back to work. We wouldn't talk about.
But then he'd be thinking about it. He'd be thinking about it,
but
you would make no headway with him.
No, I couldn't like show him an Instagram video. I'd be like, look at the camel toes on this fucking yoga model. Like, look at how big the lips are. Like. You imagine eating these things? I couldn't do that. Maybe I could, you know what I mean? But like, I just don't think I should.
Yeah.
And I don't think I will.
No.
You should really fixate on this Leonardo DiCaprio incident.
Oh,
with the model
figurine.
Did you guys see this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like be very fixated on it and be like, what, you ever have a woman do that to you? Does she just do, what do you think? Do you think she just does that? Or like she told her he was into that? Like, what do you think that deal is? Man, what is up with that, man? Oh man,
If I told any of these guys that there was ever anything in my ass other than shit, they would like, I'm sure I'd be fired in a few hours. I feel it's that type of crowd, but I just really don't know.
Probably a bunch of masked people would like probably beat your ass in the park.
Yeah.
You get soap in a sock.
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
I think it'd be funny if you're like, Ron, get over here. Come over here, man. Did you see this shit? Did you see what Leo's doing out here? Ron, what would you do? Let me ask you this, Ron. What would you do? You're out on a date with a girl.
Ron.
Smoking hot. This girl's she's a model, Ron. She's an Italian model. You're sitting there, and she goes down your backside and starts playing around down there. What do you do, Ron?
You hornily want to know like too much. Much. What?
I'm aggressively trying to get him to talk sexual with me, and he can see right through it
under the guise of feigned outrage.
Yeah, you're totally not outraged at all. It's the hottest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. I've tried to get. Well, I haven't tried, but I've. One guy was talking about like the neighborhood that he grew up in. He's a nice guy, but he's like, man, the neighborhood is really it's changed, man. It's just getting it's a jungle out there. And I was like, what do you mean, like jungle? He's like, it's just like, I knew what he was saying, obviously, and he's like, it's just the ghettoization of East Cleveland, man. It's just something. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he just, that's kind of as far as it goes. But you can tell he wants to say the N-word so bad to me.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. They all know that I'm like, I think I'm probably like the gayest thing they've ever been around.
Yeah. They want to say the N-word around you just like you want to talk about ass play with them.
Yeah.
It's a tease, yeah.
Other than that, it's a pretty good job.
All right, guys.
That is a job.
All right.
See you all later.
See you guys.
All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.